component to draw is the Plummer block base. So we're going to start from top view. So bring your drawing to top view. Type L for line command, or maybe we can use polyline. Click anywhere on the screen. Bring your cursor up for 37 millimeters and to your right for 170 units. Bring it down for 37. Type C to close. Now it's one object rather than using line and then we still have to join the whole thing. So it's easier to use polyline or pline command. So now I'm gonna draw a line. So type L for line command, enter from midpoint to midpoint. The next thing we're gonna draw is this circle whose distance is 31 from the midpoint. So type C for circle command and just hover over, don't click, from the midpoint, move your cursor to the left and enter 31 units. So that's gonna be the center of our circle. Type D for diameter option and enter 10. Now we're gonna draw a square. It's 20 by 20 as shown here. But we're gonna do this side. So I'm gonna use polyline again. Hover over from the center, bring your cursor up, enter 10. Move to your right for 10 units. Bring your cursor down for 20. Another 20. Another 20. Enter. Type C to close. And the next one is the straight slot. And the center for that is 67 from the midpoint here. So I'm going to use line for that, construction line. So type L for line command. And from the center, just hover over, don't click. Move your cursor to your left for 67 units. And then I'm just going to draw half of that 16 units. I'm going to draw a line from this point to this point. So 8. Then I'm just going to copy this one. To make it 16 units. I'm going to join. So type J for join command, enter. Now it's one line. And the distance from here up to here is 10. So I'm going to offset. So type O for offset command. Offset the line for 5 units on both sides. Click this line, click upward, click this line, and click this side. Now I'm going to draw a circle. So type C for circle command. I'm just going to start from this endpoint and move from this quadrant up to that endpoint. Copy this one. And from quadrant to that endpoint. Now I'm gonna trim. So type TR for trim command, enter, and enter again. Just remove that. Remove this one. Click this one. Delete this one. Type J for join command and just select the components. Now it's one object. Now the next thing to draw is this one inside this biggest rectangle, and the distance from this point up to this point is 10 and upward is 7.5 from the origin. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna move the origin by clicking this UCS. Wait. I'm just gonna move this one to be out of the way. Click this one, grab that center or that corner, attach it to the endpoint to make our origin from 0x, 0y, and 0z. I'm gonna show you. So I'm gonna type ID, click that endpoint. So it's all, we're starting from this origin now. All right, so move on. Polyline again. And just hover over from the endpoint, move your cursor to your right for 10 units, then comma to enter the Y value, so it's 7.5, and then enter 22, enter, and distance from this point up to this point is 71, and move your cursor to your right for 71 units, bring it down for 22, enter, and type C to close. Now we have one object, it's all connected, the segments are all connected, so we're okay. So now we're gonna mirror these objects inside. So type MI for mirror command and select the objects inside. Locate mirror line, so it should be from this endpoint up to that endpoint, and select no. Now, before we proceed, make sure that your settings match with mine. Now let's bring our drawing to Southwest Isometric. Now we're gonna extrude this one here, or all the objects actually, but let's start from here. The distance from this point up to the bottom is 11, from this point here to this point. So what we're gonna do is extrude this one. So extrude command from the ribbon and move your cursor upward for 11 units. I'm just gonna change this to the wireframe. It's easier to grab the objects. And first we have to create indentation. For these two rectangle, and the depth for that is 2 units as shown here. So from this point up to this point. So highlight that or select, and this one, and extrude it upward for 2 units. I'm gonna show you using X-ray. I'm just gonna turn off the grid. It's easier to see the objects. And now what we're gonna do is subtract these 2 rectangle from the whole thing. So subtract command from the ribbon, click this one, click the object you want to keep, right click, and select the object you want to remove. So in this case, this rectangle, and then this one here, right click. I'm gonna show you what happened here. See, we have created an indentation here, or indentations. So select the squares, and extrude it. So extrude command for 8 units. Now use subtract command from the ribbon and select the square. Okay, bring your drawing to top view again and change this to the wireframe. I'm gonna move this guide from the midpoint perpendicular or to the midpoint. I'm gonna use that for the circle. So from top view, I'm gonna create a circle. So type C for circle command, use the midpoint for center, and enter 43 units. I'm going to draw a line as a boundary. So from this endpoint to this endpoint, repeat line from endpoint up to this endpoint. I'm going to trim, so TR for trim command, enter twice. Remove this one, remove this one, remove that. Now we have 2 arcs left. Remove the line. So delete this line and draw another line that connects the endpoints. Repeat line from endpoint of the arc to endpoint here. I'll make it into one object, so I'm going to join the segments by using J for join command. Select the arc and this line, and then the line. Now this is one object. I'm going to extrude that from this endpoint up here is 43 units. So click this object, extrude, and enter 43 units. Now bring your drawing to front view. I'm going to draw a circle whose center is 16, shown here, from the midpoint up to here. So construction line again, so L for line command. And from midpoint, just want to make sure I hit the midpoint here. Bring your cursor downward for 16 units. C for circle. Use this as midpoint and enter 19 for radius, as shown here. Now draw a line for boundary, because I'm going to cut this circle up to this point. Another line up to that point. TR for trim command, enter twice. Remove this one, remove this one. Now I'm going to bring this to front view again. And I'm going to draw a line from this endpoint up to here is 3 units. So L for line command, from this endpoint, bring your cursor up for 3 units. And the distance from this point up to this point is 3, as shown here. So to your right for 3 units. And bring it up to a perpendicular point. Mirror. So type MI for mirror command. Select those 3 segments. Enter. And then select mirror line, which is this one, and select no. Now create a line again, connecting this line and that line. Now join the segments, so type J for join command. Click this line, this one, this one. Now it's one object. Extrude this object up to this point, or won't matter, up to here. I'm gonna use shaded with edges, so I'm gonna subtract this one from this thing. So subtract command from the ribbon, select the objects you want to keep, right click, and select the object you want to remove. Just gonna remove these guides. Now I'm gonna draw a line. I'm gonna poke a hole from the center. So I'm just gonna draw a line from midpoint to midpoint. Let me see. Yeah. So bring your drawing to top view. Draw a circle. So type C for circle command. Click the midpoint, type D for diameter option, enter, and enter 6. which is this one here. And the depth for that is 7.16. So I'm going to extrude this one for 7.16 and then create this cone. I'm just going to create this cone somewhere here. So cone and the diameter. So type D for diameter option, enter 6. And the depth for that is here to here is 1.8. I'm going to move this one. Grab the center, attach it to the center of this. Now I'm gonna use union command to combine these two objects and remove this guide, delete. So use press pull command and hover over the circle or the end of that sphere and move it up. And I'm gonna use X-ray to show you the whole thing. So subtract command from the ribbon, click the object you want to keep, right click and select this one. And the next thing to do is taper this end here. From this point up to this point, the height is 11, and from this corner up to this point is 3. So I'm gonna use chamfer edge and go down to the command prompt, click distance option and enter 11, enter, and for the second distance enter 3 and enter again, and click this edge, enter twice, right click to repeat chamfer edge, distance again, 11 for first distance, enter, and 3 for second distance, and enter this or click that edge. I think we're done with the first component. Let me check. I'm gonna change this to shaded with edges. Oh, not yet. This hole should go through all the way. So use press pull command from the ribbon, hover over that circle and bring it up. Don't click yet. Bring your cursor up, then left click again. There you go. Same process here. Hover over. Once it turns blue, let go of your finger. Bring your cursor up. Left click again. Now we're done for the first component. Let's move on to the next one. The next component to draw is the cap, which is this one here. I'm going to start drawing from front view. So bring your drawing to front view. First, I'm going to draw a line from 0, 0, 0 origin. Because I did my earlier drawing here that I hid. I don't want it to be overlapping. So about this point. So line. Bring it up for 10 units. And to your right for 86 units. I'm just gonna erase that guide. Another line from endpoint and move your cursor to the right for 21 millimeters and bring it down for 13 units. And to your right for 3.97 units. Now I'm gonna mirror these segments. So type MI for mirror command. Select the segments, locate mirror line, bring it down and select no. Type L for line command, enter. Shift right click and select mid between 2 points. Click this end point and that end point, and from the center, bring up your line for 13 units. Enter. The difference for this arc and this arc is 19 units. So what I'm going to do is offset. So type O for offset command and enter 19 units. Click this arc and click this side. Enter. Type TR for trim command. Enter twice. Remove this one, this line, that one, this one. Enter. Delete that. Now join the segments by typing J for join command and select all the broken segments. Now it's one object. And the thickness for that is 37 units. So what I'm gonna do is use extrude command from the ribbon. Click the object, enter, and extrude it for 37. I'm just gonna turn off the grid. Bring your drawing to top view. Type C for circle command. Click the center of the face. Type D for diameter option and enter 86, which is this one here. I'm gonna move this circle from quadrant to this point, to the midpoint. Turn it around. Click press pull command from the ribbon. Hover over this portion here. Once it turns blue, left click, let go of your finger, bring your cursor upward and left click again. Same process here. Hover over. Once it turns blue, left click, let go of your finger and left click again. Enter. Just gonna delete that. Now bring your drawing to top view again. Create circle, and the distance from the midpoint here up to this center of the circle is 12. I'm just gonna change this to 2D wireframe. So C for circle command, hover over from the center or the quadrant and to your right, enter 12. Type D for diameter option and enter 10. I'm just gonna mirror that, and from the center bring down your cursor for midpoint or mirror line, I mean. Alright, I'm gonna extrude this one. Use subtract command from the ribbon. Click this object you want to keep, right click and remove these ones that you want to subtract from the bigger object. Type C for circle command and shift right click mid between 2 points. Type D for diameter option and enter 4. Repeat circle, and from the center type D for diameter option and enter 6, which is this one here. Okay, and the depth for this bigger circle is 13 as shown here. So I'm gonna extrude this one downward for 13 units. I'm gonna extrude this one all the way down to the bottom. Subtract command from the ribbon. Click the object you want to keep, right click and select these two objects. And I show you by using X-ray. There you go. Now we have to create this this one here, this cut. Bring your drawing to top view. And create circle from the center. And the radius for that is, not radius, but diameter. So type D for diameter option and enter 24. Mirror. MI for mirror command. Select the circle. Select center or mirror line. Bring down your cursor. And select no. Select this circle. I'm just gonna change this to the wireframe is here to grab the objects. I'm just gonna, now where is this located? Move this one from midpoint or quadrant up to here. Move. Sorry. Up to this quadrant. Let me see. Yeah. All right. So extrude these two circles up to that point. Just gonna show you with X-ray and show you what happened here. Here you go. And then subtract. Click the object you want to keep, right click and select these two that you want to subtract from the bigger object. I'm just gonna change these two shaded with edges. Let me check. I think we're done with this component. Let's move on to the next one. The next part to draw is the bearing. Bottom half and top half of bearing. Let's start drawing from front view. I'm going to draw a line from this end point, maybe up to here. I just don't want our objects to be overlapping because I'm going to hide this one, highlight, or click the object, right click, hover over isolate, and select hide object. So this is where we're going to start our circle. So type C for circle command. Click the endpoint for center, type D for diameter option, and enter 50. Right click to repeat circle, type D for diameter option, and enter 38. Just gonna erase that. C for circle again, locate center, type D for diameter option, and enter 35. Same process. And 25. And the thickness for that biggest circle is 6.5 as shown here. From this point to this point. So grab that or highlight that circle and extrude it towards that direction for 6.5. I'm just gonna change this to the wireframe. Click the next circle and extrude it for 7.5 to the opposite direction. Now I'm gonna grab that next circle, but I'm gonna use 2D wireframe and move it from center to center of the face of this one. Grab that and extrude for 22 units. Bring this drawing to right view. Mirror these two objects, this one and this one. So type MI for mirror. Click this object and this object, and locate center of the face as the starting point of our mirror line. Bring your cursor up or downward. Click and select no. We're gonna poke a hole through these objects. So what I'm gonna do is combine first all these objects and then change this to 2D wireframe. I'm gonna grab or highlight this smallest circle and extrude it up to this point. It has to go through all the objects, or the object, so we can poke a hole. Move it a little bit. So I'm gonna change this to X-ray for better visualization. Now use subtract command from the ribbon. Click the object you want to keep, right click, and select the object you want to remove or subtract from the biggest one. I'm gonna change this to shaded with edges. Bring your drawing to top view. Type C for circle command. Locate center of the face. Enter D for diameter option and enter 6. I'm just gonna change this to X-ray. So our circle is here. Move that circle from center and shift right click mid between 2 points. So in this case, between quadrant to quadrant. Grab that circle, extrude it downward towards the center. Subtract command from the ribbon. Click the object you want to keep, right click, and select the object that you want to remove. Bring your drawing to bottom circle. Locate center, which is the face of the object. Type D for diameter option and enter 6. Grab this circle or move this circle from center and attach it. Shift right click mid between 2 points. And quadrant to quadrant. Highlight that circle and extrude it downward for 6 units, which is this one here. And I change this to shaded with edges. As you can see, it's not touching all the way to this cylinder. So what I'm gonna do is use press pull command. Hover over that portion and pull the object upward for about 5 units. Now combine the objects by using union command from the ribbon. Click this one and click this rod. Bring your object to front view or right view. Use slice command from the ribbon inside the solid editing panel. Click this object, right click, and from the center, just hover over, don't click yet. Then move your cursor to the right, click here, bring it to the left, and click here. And from the command prompt, select keep both sides. Just gonna move this upward. Just gonna check here. I think this component is done. Let's move on to the next component. The next component is the bolt. Let's start drawing from top view. I'm going to draw a guide so that the drawing won't be, or the objects won't be overlapping. Select this one, right click, hover over isolate, and select hide object. I'm going to select polyline, and from the endpoint, enter 19.5, 19.5, type C to close. I don't need that anymore. Type C for circle command, and from the center, type D for diameter option and enter 10, which is this one here. Extrude this one for 78 units. And this square for 6 units downward. Bring your drawing to front view. Just gonna change this to 2D wireframe. I'm gonna draw a line from the midpoint here upward for 19 units. Type C for circle command, and from the endpoint as your center, enter 25 units as shown here. Just gonna change this to shaded with edges. Just gonna turn my drawing around. Use press pull command from the ribbon. Hover over this portion of the drawing. Left click, let go of your finger, and left click again. Same process here. Hover over. Once it turns blue, left click, let go of your finger. Move your cursor towards that direction and left click again. We don't need this one. Now we have to apply chamfer on this edge. So select chamfer edge from the ribbon and go down to the command prompt. Select distance, enter 1, enter, and for the second distance, enter 1 again, and select this edge. Enter twice. I'm just gonna combine these two objects, so use union command from the ribbon. And this part is done. Let's move on to the next one. The next component to draw is the nut. And let's start from top view. So bring your drawing to top view. Draw a line for guide. Maybe up to this point. Highlight this one or select that object. Right click, hover over isolate and hide object. I'm gonna start my circle from here and enter 8.66. Right click to repeat circle. Enter 5.5. Repeat circle. and enter 5. Remove this one. Create hexagon. So go to the ribbon and select polygon command and enter 6 sides. Circumscribe about circle and click that quadrant. Thickness for this nut is 10 units. So click this hexagon. Extrude it downward for 10 units. I'm going to change this to X-ray. Click that circle. Select extrude command. Bring down your cursor and select taper angle. Enter -60. Click here. Select intersect inside the solid editing panel. Click this object and click this one. Do the same on the other side, so circle. And from the center, enter the radius of 8.66. Highlight that or select that circle. Extrude. Bring your cursor upward. Type T to choose the taper angle option and enter -60. Click here. Select intersect. Click this object and click this one. Enter. I'm gonna poke a hole through this nut. So use press pull command from the ribbon. Hover over this smallest circle. Left click, let go of your finger, bring it down and left click again. Let me check. Now go to solid, select chamfer edge, and go down to the command prompt. Click distance and enter 0.5 for the first distance, enter, and enter 0.5 again for the second distance. Click this edge, click this edge, enter twice. I'm just gonna move that. Maybe somewhere here, and erase these unwanted objects. The next part to draw is the lock nut, which has the same dimension as this one, except for the height. So start from top view. I'm going to draw a line from here, or maybe here. Type C for circle command and enter 8.66. Right click to repeat circle, enter 5. Hexagon, 6 sides, click center. Circumscribe about circle, click that quadrant, delete that, extrude this one downward for 6 units. I'm just gonna change this to the wireframe. Click this circle, extrude it downward, and click taper angle, enter -60, and click about here. Select intersect command from the ribbon, click this object and this object, another circle, click center of the face, extrude this one upward, and type T for taper angle option. Enter -60. Click here. Intersect command from the ribbon. Click this object. Click this object. Shaded with edges. I'm gonna poke a hole through this object. So press pull command. Hover over this circle. Left click. Let go of your finger and left click again. Go to solid. Select chamfer edge. Distance 4.5. Enter. And the second distance is 0.5. Enter again. Click this edge. And click this edge. Enter twice. Our knot is done. Let's move on to the next step to do is to combine all the components. To bring back the hidden components or the parts, right click, hover over isolate, and select an object isolation. I created layers with assigned colors. I'm gonna select red color for this one, blue for this, green, yellow, pink. Move this cap and click the endpoint here and attach it to this corner. Move this upward for 6 millimeters. So move, click anywhere on the screen, bring your cursor upward for 6 millimeters. Attach this one, so move. Shift right click and select midpoint. And attach it to the midpoint here. So shift right click again. Select midpoint. And for this one, move. Shift right click and select midpoint. Click the midpoint here. And attach it to the midpoint here. So shift right click again and midpoint. Move first. Shift right click and select center. See that cross? And attach it to the center of this hole or the entrance of the hole. So shift right click, select center. See that green one? I think it snaps beautifully. And this one, move, shift right click and select center. And as you can see here, there are two layers of circle, and the cross signifies center of a circle. So if you hover over this end, so it means, or this edge, it means this is the center for this edge. And you move over here, you can see the cross over there. So that's the center for this circle. So hover over here, click, and attach it. Shift right click, center of this one here, click. And for this one, move and select that first cross and attach it to the center. Shift right click, center. See this two crosses. Select the one on top. And then bring your drawing to front view. Type MI for mirror command. Select this nut, this one, oh, not that one, this bolt, and draw a mirror line from the center upward. Click and select no. Alright, to check if anything is clashing, so go to solid, select interfere, select the objects, right click to enter and select again. It looks like everything is in the right or it's snapped in the right places. I'm gonna show you if objects are overlapping or clashing. So I'm gonna move this one upward. Select interfere, select objects, right click, enter, and select objects again. Wait, there you go. See this one? Now you can see that there are objects or interfering objects. I'm gonna close that one, undo. Now this tutorial is done. Please don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon for notification. Click like if you like what I did. Comment below if you like what I did. And see you again for the next tutorial. Thanks for watching. Bye.